Oh, okay. Recording is now in progress. So we're going to get started, and as people come on, then we can, proceed in that direction. But I'm very honored to present Jaime Boswell. I tell you, it's interesting how you meet people. We just had one of those connections, and I said, "Would you be willing to come and speak at this committee that I chair at Johns Hopkins?" And she gracefully said yes. So I'm going to introduce Jaime Boswell. She is a certified holistic health practitioner, and she received in 2013 her her certificate or certification in holistic health. And she's also with the Foundation of Holistic Sciences, which is a natural healing college in 2014. And she's a certified prana healing master, Kokasu Institute for Inner Studies. And I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly, but you can.
No, you did good. You did good.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. So great. Yeah, that was a little tongue with twister. But anyway, Jaime started her journey in at the age of 26 when she arrived at Patients First and was told that she could know that she could not treat that they could not treat her fully and recommended a natural path to go to. And then she suffered gastrointestinal issues since she was very young, and she was always searching answers, but no one would really get to the root cause of her illness. So after a holistic program consisting of direction on what foods to eat, herbs and vitamins to assist her body, she felt it best as she ever had when she started that protocol. Holistic health intrigued her so much that she began reading about it and studying about it. And after her mother's passing in 2011 from multiple sclerosis, Jaime decided that wellness was going to be her mission. Becoming a practitioner was more than deciding what she wanted to do in her life. It was became a way of life for her. She said, "I have always helped others since I was a child. And previous employments as a makeup artist for 15 years, I enjoyed seeing people happy about how they looked. And when I showed them how to apply makeup and skincare, and she was in human resources for 8 years. She enjoyed helping people with their leave of absence, making sure they had help with their necessary paperwork and helping them to keep their jobs. Her passion is to help others achieve better health naturally, a blend of direction and consideration for treating the whole person, mind, body, and spirit, and their emotions as well. She is involved in optimal health and wellness. In this way, she can help people with imbalances, physical, emotional, or spiritually in their lives that she feels negatively affects their overall health and well-being. So I met Jaime. She is also the manager of the vitamin shop on Route 40, and that's where I met her because I frequent there, often. But there was just one of those days, when you say hello to person and you get a conversation, and that's why she is here today. So I'm very happy to have Jaime join us. She will not be able to stay for the entire meeting. So hopefully, if we have some questions, we can proceed after she does her presentation. But I'm going to allow her now to speak to us and ask that everyone that's on the line right now actually come up with some questions while she is actually doing her presentation. And if you have any questions, you can either put it in the chat, or we have allowed some times for you for a answer question and also comment as well. So Jaime, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Thank you, Ian, and I really appreciate the introduction. That was awesome. And I want to just let you guys know, I'm sorry again that I couldn't be able to stay on for the whole time today because I did have a prior engagement before I made this. But yeah, I'll give, Ayana has my email address too, so you can feel free also to email me any questions or whatever. And I usually can respond, you can even have my cell phone number, but I can respond within 24 hours, just letting you know that. But, as of right now, I am a store manager at the Vitamin Shop. growing my business on the side. The business name is Sanjeevi Wellness. The business has been running for about 5 years now. It's definitely starting to take off as we speak. I'm actually looking at grant funding and talking to somebody about that tomorrow to help grow it even further. Um, and like Ayana said, my mission is to help others any way that I can. I want to get more involved into the community. That's why I was very honored. When she told me that she did something like this, I was like, great. I was like, I want to talk with other people. I want to get more involved and see how we can all come together and help each other. Because it's not just about, alternative medicine. We do also need Western medicine, and that's how I blend things together. I work with the doctors with my clients. If they don't want to work with their doctor, then that's up to them. But I like to work with everybody together because we still need a collaboration of both. Something, and I touched a little bit on this, was, my history for my health. And I can use that as an example because it's my personal, reference. Um, I had digestive issues, of course, since I was a child, and I fought through that my whole life. And no one could really get to the root cause and find out what was going on. And like Diana said earlier, when I went to patient first, they stated, well, I know this holistic health practitioner. Why don't you go check her out and see, if she can help you? And I'm like, okay. I would be bloated all the time. I mean, I'm a thin woman, but everybody thought I was pregnant all the time. I was always tired and lethargic, all these, symptoms just kept happening and I couldn't feel any relief from it. And then finally, I went and had a colonoscopy done. This is personal, but I'm sharing because this is part of the thing. There was precancerous polyps on my colon. They said I had the start of Crohn's disease. I was beside myself. I was like, what am I going to do? So, I mean, with my holistic doctor and then with myself, I went on to a regimen. I changed my diet, all clean eating. Pretty much the Mediterranean diet's what I follow. And then, to let people know too, I'm sure most of you have heard of the Mediterranean diet, but it helps with obesity, type 2 diabetes, stroke, heart disease, blood pressure, may help with preventing cancer. It's even been known recently to may help with dementia. And there was one article, it was ranked best diet #1 in 2022, and that was in U.S. News and World Report. So I thought that was some very interesting feedback too. But going back to my story, so I changed my diet and I started taking some herbs, slippery elm, I know was one of them. I don't remember all of them because it was some years ago. Started taking some herbs, changed my diet. The doctor said, you got to come back in 2 years, we got to, make sure these pops haven't came back or what have you. And I said, okay. So 2 years came through pretty quickly, went back to the doctor and he goes, comes back out and, they give you a picture, it's funny. They give you a picture of your colon,
Mhm.
right? At the end, everybody remembers that. I had my old one and I had my new one. I rushed home and my dad was laughing at me. He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I want to compare my colon from last year. Yeah, guess what? He says your colon is back to normal, like nothing ever happened. There was no inflammation, no nothing. It wasn't red. There was no polyps. He says, well, instead of coming every 2 years now, you're not as risk. You can come every 5 years. So that really spoke volumes to me. And so that's like one of my top specialties with my business. I mean, I help as a holistic health practitioner, I help all forms of business, people and ailments and such. But that's one of my main ones is digestive. And along with like mental health and everything else. But yeah, so that was one thing that I was fortunate to come across. And I would say a couple years later I ran into another gentleman working with the vitamin shop, and he came into my store and he said, yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't eat anything, they told me that I had diverticulitis, I'm having massive cramps and stuff. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, let's just start, on something small to try out and see how it works, for you. So I gave him a liquid tincture of like slippery elm. And I said, hopefully this will work for you. And I didn't expect to see this guy back. I mean, he was with the vitamin shop, I didn't expect to see him to come back in or whatever. A few weeks later, he comes back in. I mean, before he was all frail, skinny, had lost a lot of weight from not eating and everything. Well, he says, Jamie, he's like, he looked healthy, vibrant again. He's like, that slippery elm really helped me. He says, I thank you so much for that. I mean, that just, made me feel great that I was able to help somebody else with that, and this kind of keeps me leading into my journey and keeps me powering on, to help others. Like even today, for instance, I had a young couple come in, they're and I'm seeing it more so, just so you guys know, I'm up in the public eye every day, working at the vitamin shop, and I love it because they know that I'm a certified holistic health practitioner, and they let me do my business with it, and they know it's going to help bring them business, and yet I'm growing mine too as well with clients, right? So, but every day somebody comes in with an issue or something, and today there's a couple and they're like, well, we've been bloated all the time. Something's just not right with our digestive tracts. And I'm seeing this more frequently. And I think a lot of it has to do with our food system. Things are changing because of our supply chain and demand and everything. So, we kind of got to be mindful and watch, what we're eating and how we're eating it and such, and where we're getting our food sources from. So, and I kind of had that discussion with them, help them pick out a cleanse, let them know that cleanses are good, at least a couple times a year, but they don't want to over cleanse, because I'm seeing a lot of people coming in all the time for cleanses. I'm like, you can't just keep cleansing your body. You gotta do fiber or something, right? To like get that back to normal, and help with diseases, prevention and all that, and keep your track going good. So, I talked them into the right type of cleanse, and they know what to do now. And then I told them, I said, following up, you come back in, we pick out a probiotic for you, because you got to put back all the good bacteria of your body, and they were really happy as they left and all, right? So, that's something that I wanted to bring up to you guys. It's something I'm seeing more and more every day is people coming in, they're worried about the different ailments and such. They're worried about what doctors are giving them. They're like, there's so many side effects to these medications and everything. And I will say this too, with my polyps in my colon and such, my doctor, my gastrointestinal doctor, did recommend some medicine for me. I don't remember the name of it. It's been a while. I remember they were blue pills. And I talked to him, I said, look, I like to be more holistic, I don't really want to take this. And he's like, well, at least give me 1 month. And I did. And I worked with him, and I did take him for a month, so that did help me on my journey, too, as well. But I can tell you that I did feel every side effect of that personally. I don't know if it wasn't just in my head. Sometimes you can, put that in your head and stuff, but, some people are just more sensitive than others. But I got through the month and everything, and then I, did my herbs and stuff with it. But, we worked together with that. And that's what I'm finding now too, that more doctors are working together, with these things. A lot of the customers that come into the vitamin shop and clients that come through my door, they're always kind of like, my doctor won't really work with me on these things. They kind of say that that's crap or whatever. And I think that's a shame. You got to give it, a chance, just like, work together with things, it's good to kind of see like, all direction for that, I feel like, and I like to work with the doctors for that too as well. And I think that's important. Let's see. I'm gonna say,
Well, Jamie, do you mind if we ask a couple questions at this point? Because
yeah.
I'm not sure that everyone that's on the call it's aware of the fact that the CDC has a department of the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health. And so there's being more and more research done in that field. So in your experience, are you aware of some of the things that the CDC is even working with, like cinnamon and for diabetes and hawthorn, and there's some other herbs that I looked up myself. So there is definitely a direct correlation between conventional and also, and again, this is with the NIH, the Center for Complementary and Integrated Health. So
Yeah, I have
yeah.
been seeing that with NIH and all. Yes, I haven't seen, to be honest, I haven't seen much with the CDC personally. Just hadn't had much time to do my research on that part of it. But yeah, definitely. I had a friend too, also that worked with the NIH, so that was also a good thing to, learn, different things with, kind of research and stuff they were doing. So I know that it's becoming more and more prevalent, out there for sure.
Mhm, mhm. Also, in terms of a healthy and substantial diet, are you finding that's a critical piece for most people to be able to maintain, when they switch over to, let's say, healthier diet? Because we know poor nutrition is associated with a lot of illnesses, and that's
Hmm.
according to the CDC as well. There's a whole presentation that they do on poor nutrition and how it's affecting
Oh,
health.
yes. I'm glad you brought that up because that's another key point that I wanted to bring up too as well that I'm noticing here with my clients. Well, the one diet, first of all, that I like to recommend to people, I already mentioned before, was the Mediterranean diet because I feel like it's the most easiest diet for someone to switch to. And it's also the most recommended, even by most doctors and stuff now, because I don't want to restrict a client too much. You know, they're used to eating a certain way and all. So I try to ease them into a diet that they can follow and they can really handle and kind of still eat the same things that they want, but just do it in a more cleaner basis way, you know. One of the sources that my sister actually recommended here recently was, and I forgot about it too. It's been years since I've done it. The Environmental Working Group, EWG. That's something, you know, a really great source that people can look up, find out like what has been put into your foods, like the ratings of your foods, how to keep your foods clean, even your food sources for your water, your body products that you use every day. They even have an app now on your phone that you can scan and it'll tell you exactly what's in it. It's a very good resource for people. Something that I'm finding too when my clients come in recently, because I do what is called a Zyto biofeedback scan, and it uses galvanic skin response, very similar to a lie detector test. Okay, the scanner itself is approved by the FDA. And what it does is it measures the body and lets me know like what's wrong with the person, like whether if there's like imbalances somewhere in their kidneys, their, you know, organs of their body, emotions even. Um, and in that recently, I've been finding an upflux of like I want to say there's parasites I've been finding a lot of. That's one thing I've been seeing a lot of. Heavy metals, glyphosate, which is, you know, a chemical that they use in our pesticides to use to protect our foods, which can still, you know, cause disruption in the system. And I'm seeing a lot of that lately, just because a lot of companies are, you know, cutting back on their products or their how they get things done, you know, to get products out on the shelves. So that's why I try to tell people, you know, use your resources from Environmental Working Group, make sure you're eating as clean as possible. The good thing is about organic foods now, the prices are coming down for the most part on that. I mean, you can go to Aldi and you can get, you know, organic food pretty much for the price of regular food now. It's, you know, I can get a frozen bag of green beans that are organic for like less than $2, you know, so just you know, being mindful and stuff with that. But yeah, so I have been noticing a lot of difference in that lately and just trying to get the education out there for people.
How do you feel about the politics of food? Because there's a lot of fake food companies now that are competing and saying that their food and it's not really real food and saying that their food is even better than
Yeah,
organic food, like Beyond Meat and some other things. What's your feeling about that?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's still a processed type food, you know. It's not going to be great unless it's really coming from our earth, our soils and stuff, right? You know, I mean, this genetically modified food, you know, there's different processes and stuff and things that they add in it, and that's what's disrupting everybody's digestive systems. I mean, I can tell you, I cheat every once in a while. I'm not the best, you know, I have a hamburger here and there, you know, but when I do, I feel it, you know, and, you know, I'm sure some of you have even been through the same thing with certain foods and stuff at times, you know, your body lets you know, like if something's not right, you know, so, you know, and then you got to find a way to cleanse that out of your system, you know, but yeah, I'm not, yeah, I would love to go. That's one of my missions in the future is like, I'd really like to get a team of people together and really try to go after like all the things that the additives and stuff that they put in our foods. But, you know, not one person can do that alone. You definitely need a big force for that, especially with, you know, everything higher up that we have.
Well, does anyone else have any questions or comments at this time for Jamie?
Well, one thing I would ask is, I think there's a lot of interest in holistic medicine and um, integrative medicine, and but there is a barrier to some of it when you're being treated by someone who does the classic Western medicine. Do you have any suggestions for how you can get, I'm going to say, a regular doctor um, to be willing to work with you on some of these things?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so even for myself, like my practitioner, for instance, my regular, doctor, she was kind of that way at the beginning, she was like, Jamie, I don't know, I want you to stop all your supplements for now, and I really want you to just kind of like start over and, and let's try, this way, with this medication for a little while, right? So, I mean, what I do is, I just, explain to them, look, I just want to, try something a little bit more naturally, but, have your supervision with that, and kind of see how it works out. And then maybe we can retest like in about a month or so and see how well that I'm doing on this or whatever. It's just trying to work with them and have a conversation with them to see, if, if they would be willing to work with you. Now, not all physicians have, worked with me in the past. I mean, I've had to leave a couple, because of it, but majority I've noticed are becoming more open and aware, and they're willing to kind of work with you as long as you're like testing together. Recently I had a doctor's appointment and she was against testing my hormone level. She says, you're in menopause, there's no need to test that. And I was like, well, I'm also a lot younger than most women in menopause, so like I really would like to get these looked at just to make sure that I'm where I should be on that. And then, she says, you know what, that's fine. I'll do it for you. It took a little bit of pushback, but, she was willing to do that with me.
Okay.
And
But it,
Lisa, I just found a naturopathic doctor, Dr. David Ross. I researched him and he's actually an MD, but he also does integrated medicine. And
Yes, you do.
yeah, yeah. So there are doctors out there now that are crossing over, because I think it's important to have both sides, you know. So I feel more comfortable having him as an MD, and he's an older gentleman, so he's been around for a long time. So they're out there. Um, so yeah, that's one way to just kind of Google it, because that's how I found him. I just did a Google search. But I think more and more, Jamie, don't you agree? More, like you said, more and more doctors are beginning to listen to their patients, which is a part of their, you know, their protocol. You know,
yes, absolutely. And something too that I do is I tell my clients, make sure that you're asking your doctors for questions, telling them what you want to do. A lot of times, we go to the doctor and we want them to tell us like the one all cure all thing or what we can do for ourselves. But sometimes, we have to come prepared with our questions and ask, well, I've been feeling tired lately. Can we check I want to check my vitamin D3. I want to check my B12. I want to check my thyroid. Because sometimes, doctors don't think about all these things and it's okay. They're busy just like we are. So, it's just putting that reminder out there and, taking control of your own health too, as well.
yeah, we had a cancer. Actually, she did a presentation, Trish Lanier. Some of you may remember her. She had 5 organs removed, and she had a rare case of colon rectal cancer. And at the time I was coaching her, she would ask her doctor, actually her oncologist, certain questions about did she have a D sufficiency, because she started to doing her own homework. And he didn't want to do the tests, and he did the tests and found out that she did have a deficiency. So yeah, oftentimes, you get in a situation where you really have to well, not kind of, you have to advocate on your behalf and insist on these things, because as you know, an imbalance in hormones can throw your whole system off and create other issues. um have you done it, or do you know of any, because I did this, there are about 14 cancer fighting foods for optimal health that people can look up. And there are also things on with the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, that they talk about how certain herbs now that they're experimenting with, that
Yeah.
they're looking at how these things impact on regular illnesses and chronic illnesses as well. Are you aware of any of that information?
Not
With
off the
the,
top of my head, the exact information of that.
Mhm.
I am aware of like one of in my studies that I remember, and I'll be honest, I have not, treated too many cancer patients at this time. But one of the main things in all my studies was to go to like a strict juicing diet, you know, making sure that you're juicing and you're getting all the nutrients from like fruits and vegetables and such. You know, a lot of these things are very critical when it comes to, you know, cancer fighting and such, you know, so that's something that I know is highly recommended. You know, especially a lot of cancer patients, you know, they cannot, you know, if they're doing like some kind of treatment, undergoing radiation and such, you know, they're not allowed to eat and get their nutrients they want, right? And drinking is a little bit easier for them. So juicing is, you know, definitely a good way to get like a lot of those nutrients and stuff in, you know, to make sure that they're staying strong and, you know, getting through everything best that they
Are you
can.
familiar with the Hippocratic Institute that are treating people for cancer? The Hippocrates Institute.
I'm
Or
not familiar.
Hippocratic
No,
Institute. I may be getting it wrong, but
you're
yeah,
okay.
they've been treating people with fourth stage pancreatic cancer with juices and things of that nature. But I just find it interesting, and I would really suggest sometimes we as individuals and members representing the community, we need to really do some research on our own because you know, out of all of the institutes with the CDC and NIH, they are exploring these things. It's not out there in the front as much, but anytime they have a department for complementary and integrative health, and I've read something today just on cinnamon, and they're researching it, the background, and they clearly say that it has a long history used in traditional medicine all over the world. So it's got the background, it's got the proof that it works, but you know, trying to merge it with conventional medicine is the challenge, and yet conventional medicine is studying it, so it's almost like a
Yeah. Yeah, it's
contradiction.
almost
Although,
like, you know, double-ended.
although I do have to point out that when you're getting radiation or you're getting different cancer treatments, you're normally told not to use
Mhm.
supplements or herbs because there's not a whole lot of data in terms of how they interact with your chemo or your radiation. I think personally, I eat really cleanly and I believe in herbals and different things that you've talked about. But if I was undergoing active cancer treatment, which I have in the past, I would probably not do it at that time because it is just not recommended in most cases because they just don't know how it interacts.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem right now too, is there's not a lot of studies on herbs and such, yeah. And so that's one reason why, you know, the doctors like to, you know, they want to say that and make sure, you know, like they don't want to be liable or hurt anybody, you know, if they are mixing anything. And we don't know. There's honestly, you're right, you know, we don't know if it's going to mix, you know, a certain way or whatever. And you got to watch out for some herb interactions too. Sometimes you can overdo it with different herb interactions too. You know, you
Well,
sometimes can't take at the same time.
I'm curious this. Sorry if I missed this. My child has been doing a lot today, but I'm
Okay.
wondering how much of this do you think is, you know, not knowing like how the herbs are going to interact with treatments versus not being able to patent certain things like fruits and vegetables, which, you know,
Yeah.
will be helpful to everyone, but they can't make any money off of that. And I know some physicians, you know, get paid to use certain medications or certain, you know, technologies or what have you. So I know the money isn't necessarily there for them. Do you think that's also contributing to, you know, not embracing holistic medicine quite as much?
Honestly, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it too, honestly, you know, like unfortunately, you know, there's so much money being made into people being diseased, right? And you know, it's sad, you know. I mean we do need Western medicine. You know, I am a full believer on both, you know, but I feel like, you know, there was herbs put on this earth for a reason, right? There's fruits and vegetables put on this earth for a reason, you know, and they all told us growing up, it's so good, it's important to eat an apple a day, right? Takes the doctor away. I mean, we've heard that since we were growing up, you know? So yeah, I do believe that that's a big part of it too. You know, it's just no money into it. And it's so easily attainable right now, right? Because you can walk into my store that I work right now, right? The vitamin shop. You don't need a prescription for any of that stuff in there, you know, and you can take it, you know? I mean, I hear I hear success stories. I hear some things don't work for people because yeah, not everything's going to work for everybody, but you've got to find what works for you and your body. And that's what I tell a lot of my clients. And I tell people that are at the back too. That's why I have them come back, in 30 days so I can rescan them and say, okay, let's make sure and see everything that I recommend is working for you and that you're, getting your goals that you need, because it's something that's important to them, right? They want to feel better. And we have them come back every 30 days until we get it right, and normally within like 3 visits, we figure out what's going on and they're in the right direction, so, but yeah.
There is an organization in Washington. I'm sorry, did somebody else want to say something? Oh, okay. There is a organization in Washington, D.C. I was trying to pull them up. It's called, they're Physicians for Complementary Medicine. And these are doctors that have been around, that have done research. So I think sometimes we think that if it's not evidence-based in the way that conventional medicine deals with things, we kind of dismiss it. But there are doctors out there who've proven that certain herbs affect, certain illnesses and things of that nature. And again, I must point to the fact that NIH has a national center for complementary and integrated medicine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're studying it, and I mean, I'm looking at this thing with cinnamon, and they said it appears, what do you know about cinnamon? Cinnamon appears to be safe when consumed in the proper amounts and with guidance, and that's just for diabetes. And they've got hawthorn, and they've got all garlic, and they've got all these things that they're studying, and they give you the background, what the safety is on it based on what their research has been, but at least it opens the door for people to begin to broaden their perspective on complementary and alternative medicine.
Yeah, a lot more people are becoming more aware and more open to it. I have noticed that. We've had an influx in, like, especially during COVID and such, we had a very big influx at the vitamin shop of people coming in, looking for answers and ways that they can protect themselves. I mean, something I've never seen before in my life. I mean, I was there, during the brink of COVID, and when our shelves were completely bare. I've never seen anything like it. I probably got a video saved somewhere about it. I mean, it was really intense working through that time period, but also very rewarding at the same time because people were actually coming in looking for help and solutions, to help protect themselves from COVID and such, and I thought that was, great, they were taking those necessary steps.
Were they more focusing on their immune system? Because I did have a couple clients who wanted things that could build up their immune system. What was your experience with that?
Oh, yeah, majority was immune system. Yeah. I can tell you some of the top protocols and stuff that we were doing and recommending was like 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, 5,000 micrograms of vitamin D. I always suggested some extra immune booster. You got NAC, which also helps with helps with mucus and regulating mucus in the body. Those were like some of the key things that we were recommending to people at that time. And some of the regular things that we always recommend to people, in the vitamin shop, the standard is, everybody that comes in our store, should always have a multivitamin, a fish oil, and a probiotic, because those are your key points that everybody can take. Multivitamins, like fill in the gaps from like your food sources and such, anything that you might be missing out of that. The fish oil, and they do have allergy-based ones, so if you don't do fish, you can do that. But for the fish oil, you got your brain health, your eye health, your cardiovascular, joints, everything. I mean, most of you probably already know all this. And then probiotics for your gut health, making sure that, your gut's your hub for everything too. It's gonna, help you with your emotions, your body, everything. But it keeps your good bacteria flowing throughout your body too.
Well, this is good information and good points for all of us to take it, even from a personal perspective. I mean, as I get information for myself, but of course, we're focusing on the community in terms of
Yes.
prevention and what the real causes are in terms of people, not looking at the food intake as a major consideration. Now, I did have a statement from the CDC says 85% of all illnesses have an emotional component. And before you leave, just tell us a little bit about the emotional piece and how you see that affecting one's overall health and well-being.
Oh yeah, most
Be
definitely.
emotional.
Yep. Well, when it comes to the emotions, like, a lot of different factors can come into it, one of the first things is like, I had a young lady come in the other day, just giving you guys a good example. I'm not really good with age, but she had to be in her early 20s. And I could tell she just looked like she hadn't, at first she looked like she kind of mad, but then she looked like she was about to cry. I could tell something was off with her, and I asked her first if she needed some help, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I don't need any help today." And I'm like, "Okay," I was like, "Well, let me know if you have any questions." And something just told me just check up on her, so I went and checked back on her again, and she says, "I'm still looking." I said, "Okay." And then finally, my third time, I went up to her. She was in the store for quite a while, walking around the whole entire store, and I was like, "Are you sure you're okay?" Because I just knew, like, I felt something with her was going on. And I could tell she was about to cry when she talked to me. And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I've been having some issues, with my birth control, and my hormones have been all over the place. I cried at a drop of the hat the other day for no reason, during one of my classes." And she's like, "I feel angry like the next minute." And I said, "Yeah, that definitely sounds like something hormone, imbalance, or whatever." I didn't get a chance, unfortunately, to go into diet with her. She was kind of in a hurry, but I did suggest to her like DHEA, which is a naturally occurring hormone in the body. I said, I start out with a low dose of this so they can help regulate your hormones, because this is a naturally, occurring hormone in your body already. So this is going to help regulate that. So I'm hoping that that would give her some relief. So that's just one example of some things that I've seen with emotion. I'm actually teamed up with Glen Burnie. I think it's Glen Burnie Counseling and Mental Health Wellness is their name. Chesapeake Wellness, something like that. It's here in Glen Burnie. I'm teamed up with them. She actually connected with me because she saw my holistic services, and she has a lot of clients, with mental health that come through, and they don't want to take the medications, right? For whatever reason, they don't like the side effects of it, or, maybe they just want to try something natural first. So then that's when she'll contact me. And then I'll recommend, to her, the first thing foremost, of course, definitely is diet. You're eating bad, you're going to feel bad, right? It's going to bring down your emotions. That's one thing. Two, exercise. Even myself is a huge advocate on that. Like, I'm not myself if I don't exercise at least a couple times a week. I mean, it gets me going, it helps your endorphins, it helps you manage stress better. And what does that all do? Makes you better, to be in stressful situations and handle everything a little bit more better, right? So, yeah, that's something that I've seen a lot of, unfortunately. But it's, just kind of re-educating people. I try to remind my clients, try to get back into some daily exercise. If they don't have the time, at least start out walking, something small, but get into something where you're doing something, a little bit of cardio, strength, and stretching, is all like important as for everybody. I can't hear you, Ayan. Are you on mute? I think you're on mute.
Anyone else? Any questions or comments? Jamie? Somebody on the phone, I believe.
No, that's echo coming from you.
Oh, it is? Oh, so sorry. I need to turn my volume down then, huh? Yeah. Well, Jamie, this is very good. We appreciate your time. I know you have another commitment, so we don't want to hold you, but we want to thank you for sharing, because this is the kind of information that we are working diligently to get to the community, to let people know that they have options. And it's really about them being proactive. Self-care is about it's about the doctor, but it's about you doing your part,
Absolutely.
to address your issue. So we want to just thank you and welcome you to join us. I mean, we have open membership right now, so if you'd like to be a part of that, we welcome you. We can talk some more about that, but thank you so much for your
Definitely.
time. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank
Oh,
you
you're
for
welcome.
thank you for the blanket of guilt you didn't throw it all over me.
Uh-oh. Didn't mean that at all.
It was awesome. Really appreciate it.
Not
You're
personal.
welcome.
Truly
My
awesome.
pleasure. My pleasure.
So we
Yeah,
hope you enjoyed.
yeah, I
ahead.
enjoyed talking with all of you. Like, seriously, feel free. Ayana can give you my information. I'm open. I'm here to serve the community. I want to keep doing that. And feel free to hold on to my number. Like, if something comes up a month down the road, you have a question or something, like, please, feel free to reach out to me, because I'm always here.
Thank you so much. And we want to
Thanks a
wish you
lot.
much success with your business
Yes.
and all the time that you devote to helping to improve the lives of others. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Take
Thank you,
care.
Ryan. Appreciate you. Have a blessed day, guys.
You
Yes.
too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I
Man,
tell you,
that-
there's so much we know, but it's so much we don't know. And that's how I deal with all of it, whether
It's
it's
so deep.
food, illness, or whatever. So that was great. So I see we don't have a lot of people this evening, but in the meantime, we want to just proceed with talking about membership recruitment.
Well, I thought you was gonna do the video first.
Well, you know what? I didn't. I sent it to you, and you couldn't pull it up. And I just I sent you an email said no worries or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah,
But,
because when Olivia and Tiffany couldn't get it open as well,
yeah, I
you
don't know.
open
I'm
it.
not that tech savvy, but I don't know what happened. I did want to show it because it was a direct tie-in
Okay.
to what Jamie was presenting it, but it was from a professional point of view, from people who've done the homework and researchers and people who've done the homework. So maybe I can send the link. I'll see if I can find out what the problem is, and I'll just send it out.
What kind of video is it? Is it YouTube?
Well,
or-
no, it's all about the importance of food and the role that food plays, but it's done by folk who, are credentialed,
yeah.
got the PhDs, and they the ones kind of get not you, Brittany. But it does make a difference, whether it's coming from someone, a lay person, or whether it comes from someone that the system respects and honor because they're a scholar and they've done their research, and it may not be out there, but there are folk out there who are all also solidifying the fact that this whole thing with food and health is a biggie, and how it's being voted, the politics of all of it now in terms of promoting food that is not good for us. So having said that, no, I don't have the video, but I do want to say that this whole presentation was really about honoring Cancer Awareness Month and also Women's Health Month, to bring someone in that could tell their story. Every time you turn around, there's a new celebration. I knew it was Cancer Awareness, but my sister informed me that it was also Women's Health Month as well. So that's why we thought Jamie would be a good contribution for that subject.
And
So go ahead.
I'm sorry because I know there's not many people on, but I'm going to have to jump off for the rest.
Okay.
So, but thank you for the evening so far, and that was an interesting talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa, for joining us. We appreciate you. Take care. We got one more meeting. Hopefully you can make the next month.
All
Okay.
right, I'll be there.
Take care. Bye-bye. So I guess we can talk a little bit about whoever's left here about, I think this is a perfect example that we need to really focus on membership recruitment. Because when we bring folk in and we don't get the audience, I mean, it kind of speaks to our level of commitment. I don't want to sound too harsh, but we've had some low participation for the last couple of meetings. And we also had some folk that were not being so attentive, but that's another story. So we want to, any suggestions for that, because you can't really form a committee, a membership recruitment committee, if you don't have
all the members on the committee.
Hey, look, and Brittany, Dr. Lord, I'm doing my part. I can't do it all. You know what I mean? But I have invited some folk, just like I did with Jamie today. I think she would be a good person, but we really need to get, some other folk on here that can really speak to the needs of the community. And more importantly, why are we here? What are we really doing? Theron?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. Well, the goal is clear, like we have in our write-up, it's supposed to, the CAG is supposed to give some information, a perspective to the university, but the university, we should be getting these opportunities to disseminate like this great information I just got from this lady. I mean, she's got me rolling, and we should be taking this back to the community as well. You know, so it's supposed to be a bilateral type of union. And I don't know, it just seems like ever since we went online, went virtual, things just
Yeah,
and
shifted.
yeah, and but that doesn't. I'm not in the give up category. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, like she was alluding to. I was told like when we got a committee together for putting together some guidelines for the group led by Dr. Lord, and it went well. It was, and the group have new, but like Ayana said, what good would it do to do this here, right now? You know, but we have, and recruitment is essential, and we're gonna have to do something. We have this weekend. And I sent everybody the eval thing, but it also has a couple of flyers on there. Saturday they're having clinical research trials day. I think I'm saying it correctly. It's in your. I don't want to pull up again. It's in your email, but we're gonna be at Eagle Park in your old neighborhood, Yana.
Yeah.
11 to 3. And it's all along that. And we've decided that we're gonna try to do some recruiting for the CAG at that event. If anybody's in there, and we have taken on the we're doing a lot of outreach. We're doing more and more outreach events. So at the outreach events, we're going to publicize that this is something that people can be a part of. But there's I know the old baseball one is if you build it, they'll come. I think it's different. I like this one I heard. It's about attraction, not promotion.
Have y'all ever? I'm just curious if y'all ever had like a table at Day at the Market.
Yes.
Have people been receptive to that, like signing up?
No.
No.
but what we plan on doing when we get this flyer approved from the university is going to be a standing order up at the market, rather we're there or not. Because Barbara, who runs it, is actually part of our team, and we're going to have that up there, as well as we do a monthly health session, and unfortunately that's why you don't see my ladies here with me, because they basically do that health session. Like right now they're doing lung cancer. That's at 6 o'clock, so that's 6 to 7. Unfortunately, the way it came down was just the third Tuesday, like this meeting. But they're there, and they're going to, again, we've been meeting about this. Even though the CAG is going to do it, we're going to take play a part in trying to recruit regular folk.
That's what we need. Regular.
Yeah, trying to recruit regular folks. So the CAG is responsible for the recruitment, but we're partners, so we want to try to do it, because what we don't want to have is all just top shelf people who don't know anything about the community. Because it's not just about the color of our skin, it's about our connection to the community. And we need to have people who have a connection with the community. Obviously there's a perspective to somebody of this persuasion that is unique, but this is supposed to improve the health of everybody in our catchment area. The focus should be on minorities, but it's for everybody. Needs to get, like this information Jamie just disseminated.
Generic.
It needs, we need to get that. I mean, but how many people? Jan, this is your field, Brittany. Y'all know a lot of this stuff, but I'm telling you, a lot of people don't know half the stuff that she was saying, and how life-changing something that can be, that we could get and move it into the community. We could take, like you said, we're recording this right now. We can share the recordings. We can get different write-ups of things and put it out there, use it as a tool to get people interested. But it's going to take all of us. But on the flip side, two of our strong members, what am I missing? Ameta and Joanne Bertha. Your old mentor. They contacted me a couple of days ago. And I'm sorry, I'm going to miss this thing. I'm just saying, so I get this stuff all the time, And so there are some people that are interested, but people do have lives, but we need to have enough people that if somebody's not there, you know, we just able to carry on. Because like after tomorrow, I'm supposed to be Ayana's co right now, but basically she's doing it. After tomorrow, Tiffany will be finished with her courses. So we should be getting her back next month. And we're gonna roll her back in there. So we're gonna have our schedule for the next, because this is the end of the CAG. You know, after June, we're on summer break. And you know, and we don't have to wait till summer. We can come up with some ideas right now, but I want it mostly to come from you guys on pulling people in instead of it just being what and through experience, you know, been here for a minute. What we don't want to have is the CAG being an extension COE or Sidney Kimmel's staff meeting. It needs to be people whose paycheck is not predicated on being here. And what that means is other people at Hopkins that's not a part of Sidney Kimmel, their paycheck ain't got nothing to do with us. They're welcome. You know, you know, but just having that one entity, because remember, we used to be a part of the School of Public Health. Brittany, you wasn't here then. We was a part of the School of Public Health. This was a School of Public, I can show you some pictures. We'd have like 40 to 60 people at a CAG meeting. At least 20, 25 of them public health, School of Public Health officials, 1 or 2 School of Medicines. So obviously how that skewed things. So it's not insurmountable. We just got to be a plan, not one person centered. We got to come with a plan, and collectively we got to do something. Because I'm saying I'm here as part of the team, but I feel like I got a lot out of just being here. And I will be sharing that information, a lot of things that were shared. You know, because Ayana talks about it, but she said some things in a way today just like clicked in me.
Yeah.
You said the vitamin shop. Which vitamin shop is she in?
She's at Route 40.
I mean, west side, east side?
That's the West 40 West.
40 West, yes. I mean,
Yeah. 40 West, and I think
Going
that's
up the
Cook's
east.
Lane there. Yeah.
Ooh, you way over.
And you know, you have to study this stuff. You just can't blatantly just talk about stuff without having some background in it. And so like I said, I frequent there to shop. But getting back to your point, it's important that we understand, and I know I may sound redundant, why we are here. You know, and you know, I'm here because I'm gaining information and knowledge for myself. But I think it's important for CAG members, when we have people coming in and speak, it's important for us to see how this connects with where we are, so that we can see how I can connect with other people. You know, it's all about interconnectedness and looking at how we can, like you said, Theron, you know, you picked up some things today, right? For yourself.
Yes.
But how do we get the community? I've been going back to listening to Morgan Station, WEAA, and I'm surprised they have people. Mama Kay, she has people on all the time, grassroots people from the community, talking about health and crime and a whole bunch of things. And so that's another way that we could possibly look at recruiting people, because these people always, you know, have a story to tell, what they're doing. They give their phone numbers out, they give their emails out, and there's some grassroots people in the community in Baltimore that are just doing some powerful work, but you'd never know. You know, you'd never know if you weren't listening to like a radio station like WEAA to pick up on some of that.
How does the PG CAG get their membership up? I'm assuming they have a lot of members.
Yes, but they're going through the similar thing since we've gone virtual. Instead of having like 20 people, it's fluctuating. It's been maybe as low as 8 of a big name would bring somebody in, because like I think Dr. G may be bringing some, not bringing some people, attraction, because what we're doing is, whether you guys realize it or not, every CAG meeting is now on our website. It's on our media pages, but that's a part that we're doing again, and we decide we're going to do it in the physical realm. but just to start doing that as well. But I know it's just a cliche, but it's about attraction rather than promotion. We got to make this thing attractive to make people want to be a part of, and that's something we got to do. And we got to advocate. We like met a young lady a couple years ago, and she's part of clinical trials over at Bayview. She heard about, just the conversation, she heard about the clinical trials day. And she said, I wish I would have known about it, you know, because it's too late to graduate. I said, you know what? Why don't you come and participate with us? You know, we'll let you share our table with us and you can do your thing. And what we're going to do is we're going to maybe start handing some stuff out, because this trial that they're doing can be done over the phone, over Zoom, or in person. $75. No invasion, just answer some questions. We're gonna put stuff like that out, put stuff like that. We want to be a part of their things like that. We're going to be more integrated with other entities that are going different places. Dr. Galiasanto, we're talking about, you might hear, he goes by Dr. G. And Dr. G has an 11 o'clock community call on Fridays. And I'm generally there if we don't have something else to do. There's generally between like 30 and 45 different organizations, mostly churches, but other organizations as well. And the first of every month, I have one of the ladies doing a cancer screening talk. You know, they do, you know, just a brief cancer screening talk, you know, just going over screening recommendations. And we're getting more integrated and things like that. And the more we expand through groups like Dr. G's groups, like Bayview's group, we can come in contact with more people. So we want to get some print material to be able to put out there, but we need to verbalize the need and put it out there. And it can't be just us, because we will attract other us's. Forget the language, but other us's. And we need not say none. I'm not saying they're not welcome. I'm saying if you want community perspective, if you want people who can talk to somebody, okay, like Ayana's talking. What if Ayana got to getting something and she just met Jamie at the vitamin shop, and then she starts sparing a conversation about how the energy imbalance is you're online, this stuff is leading down this cancer realm that we're talking about here, you know, and then she might take it and go somewhere else with it and just keep passing it down. And somewhere along the line, we might pick up a person, you know, so we don't want to just have numbers just to have numbers. We need to have people that are really interested in this, somebody who's going to really take the information and disseminate it within their various communities. And also, when we have a researcher, Brittany will be doing her project, and she'll be doing her project presenting here, and we get
exactly.
project. You know what I'm saying? We need to be available to bilateral.